Newsfeed now talking about Comet Swan tail brushing past Earth, sending a debris field into our atmosphere. Is it true or not? Let's take a look at the orbital diagrams and we shall find out. So here we are, End Times headlines, and there's dozens and dozens of other news sites carrying this story. Earth will pass through orbital debris stream of extremely large comet in October. They are referring to R2 Swan 2025. 0.26 AU, that's right. It's going to get closest to us October 18th through the 21st. But then they show another day of interest on October 4th to the 6th when the Earth may cross the comet's debris stream. So I'm looking at this saying, all right, Comet Swan is moving to the right. So we're ahead of that. I'm just curious how the debris stream might get there. So we'll take a deeper look. But here's the comet for you. They just discovered it just literally out of the blue, nowhere. It just pops out from behind the sun and wham, we have this extremely long tail. Beautiful comet. It's supposed to be absolutely stunning. As easily visible in the night sky as Hale-Bopp was, if you remember that back in the day in the 90s. And the tail continues to grow, and it's green, and it's expanding, and the plasma tail, and it's supposed to be awesome. And also another thing going on, there's a total of 5 which you would consider possible visible comets that if you're using binoculars or naked eye that we'll be able to see these. There's more than that, but unless you got a observatory for yourself to look at, you're not going to see them. But these are supposed to be naked eye comets that are going to be coming through here in the next 3 months. So this is a lot of activity in the sky. Please remember, going back to ancient Chinese mythology and star observations, if they saw one comet in the sky of a certain type, they had all these different tail types labeled, categorized. Certain types of tails closer to Earth caused disruption across the emperor's kingdom, for a better term. So to see 5 in the skies at the same time, or one after the other after that, if we were back in the more of the ancient past, this would be a terrifying event. And I'm sure the Magi Star Watchers as well. Anywhere you see multiple comets of this duration and this length and so many powerful ones coming through, it's signaling something, but what? And if you are interested, I tried to look for it through my binoculars, but it went just below the horizon and the sun was still too powerful even after sun. So as I'm needing to wait for this thing to come up farther up, you can see it between Spica and Mars. Just look for Mars on the horizon. It'll be visible right after sunset. Look for that orange dot up there, and then it'll be below it a little bit and to the left for the better term. Now, getting into the analysis here of this, so I whited out the parts of the article that were interesting. At this moment, projected that C2025 R2 Swan will come within 0.26 AU. That's astronomical units. So the distance from the Earth to the sun is 1 astronomical unit. So it'll be, relatively close. Let's say 1/3 of the distance all that way. And it'll be very bright in the sky, visible with just your eyes. So, during those evenings, please get outside and check this out. Comet Lemon will be there also. And then we have Comet 3i Atlas that'll be coming through later on around, let's say, early December. You should be able to see that one. But between October 18th to the 21st in 2025, Comet Swan is going to be the closest here for our approach. It's going to be sort of heading up above the ecliptic, heading over us for a better term, but not directly over us, but you'll see it trajectorying higher into the sky. Each day it'll get higher up into the horizon, off the horizon. But here's one that October 4th and 6th, when the Earth may cross the comet's debris stream. Think about it. Banks, billionaires, and countries are loading up on physical gold and silver. Why? Because when markets swing, real assets hold their value. That's how generational wealth is passed down. Don't wait until the headlines confirm what's already happening behind closed doors. It's time to protect what you've built. Noble Gold's precious metal specialists are standing by to answer your questions and walk you through every step. They make it simple to own investment grade gold or silver that you can put in your hands or into your retirement account. And for a limited time, offer silver bonus. 1 10-ounce silver flag bar plus 1 silver American Eagle proof coin for new qualified accounts, IRA, or cash purchases. That's 2030gold.com. And with half the world moving to a gold-backed currency, you have to wonder what's going to happen in the future. That's 2030gold.com, or click on that link in the description box below. And I was thinking, all right, we got all the software out here, so let's take a look at this. So the purple line is R2 Swan, and the Earth is the blue. So we have our orbit that is around there. And I'm going to bring you over to the sky live. This is the live movement of it. So we're going to move it up and down a little bit, and you can see where it is. I put October 25th, but I'm going to bring you back to the 7th and 8th, if you will. So let's take a look at when they're talking about this. I'll start at October 1st. So notice where Comet Swan is. It's coming from what would be considered the left quadrant in toward the Earth, and our Earth's orbit is going to continue around counterclockwise toward Venus on our elliptical orbit there. So as we move through, watch the dates move. I'm going to go October 2nd. You can see Swan and Earth move. So I move it through the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th and the 6th and the 7th and the 8th. We are ahead of the debris stream. We are ahead of its tail, ionic tail. Even where it sits, it would be nowhere remotely close coming into us. Ionically, the winds off of that tail, will it send debris? Not sure. But here's how we go. Watch it move forward all the way to the closest approach. But we are ahead of it the entire time. There's no way a debris stream could come to us. I'll move it around just a little bit even here. And you can see that we're always ahead of it right here. So if we move forward in time, and you can see how the Earth is ahead of that. So wherever it is, that tail is going to be always behind us. So there's, in my opinion, now I could be wrong, but I'm going to say not a very good chance of any debris stream from Comet Swan interacting with Earth on this pass. Now, maybe when we come around a year later and there's still some remnant of it left over, perhaps. But as we see here, Swan's tail, moving forward in time, the Earth is always that one step ahead, one step ahead. And as that tail comes nowhere near where we are going to intersect it with the Earth in any way, shape, or form, it's always going to stay behind us. And if one last look for you here, so we're going to look dead on into that thing. So let's bring it back all the way again to the 1st. I'll even, come back in, let's say September 30th or something. So as you can see, that tail is always pointing away from the Earth, and see, we're always ahead of it. We're staying ahead of it the entire time. There's no way that tail is going to interact with us. So these types of articles, be discerning, because you have the software here. You can look at anything that you want to and find where these orbits are. And I linked everything, the Sky Live. You just go in, you click the comet you're looking for, 3i Atlas, Lemon, whatever it would be. And you can follow the trajectories of these comets around. Now, as I was talking about, 10 tail moons long. So we look at this and you go, okay, that's pretty long in the sky. And you talk about arc minutes and this sort of thing. So think about the moon, the visible full moon from us. I mean, it looks large in the sky. So here we go, 10 moons long. So I'm just going to do the entire circumference of it, not the diameter, but the full circumference of it, as we'll make it that perfect circle. We're going to stack another perfect circle on top of it and another perfect circle on top of it. So we have the moons. I'm not going to cut them in half for the diameter. We're going to go full circle on it. So Australian comet expert Michael Matiazzo, capturing this, says 2.5 degree long tail, which was 5 moons, but you see it's increased to 10 moons. It's all about perspective. And again, how close is this thing going to get to us in terms of as it goes off above? Now, again, next year could be remnants. Yeah. But this year, I'm going to say that really the chances of interaction with it, unless I'm completely wrong, and I could be, and if I am, please correct me. I'm always willing to learn. But I look at that and say the interaction of a tail brush and a debris field from the tail interacting, and we're not going to pass through it. If our orbit was the opposite, I could say possibly. But we're going with it. It's moving at the same time. So unless something magical happens, I would say that's a no-go. But again, do your own research when you see news articles like this. There's a lot of scare tactics moving out. There might be alien technology, class 7 with 3i Atlas. Everywhere you look, oh, Lemon's going to be bright. Oh, we have this Swan is just discovered. There's just a huge amount of society changing possible information that could shift us if we needed to be shifted. Because, just look at it in a logical sense of the reset time since 2020. These last 5 years were meant to reset us in certain ways, shapes, forms, fashions. Now, it was partially accomplished. To accomplish what would need to be resetting the economy from literally a phoenix from the ashes coming up would require some sort of either large debris coming in that would terrify people, or just straight up, this thing is alien technology that would set our planet back again. The mind would be reset to the point of religion would be questioned, the economy would question. I mean, this, when I first saw the article, I was thinking, if this is true, and the commentator, I'm saying, if it was, and there's all this debris came raining into the planet, do you think people are going to work tomorrow? Most people are going to be like, I want to need a week off of my family. I need to figure this out. And if something truly did come in, like, city size, boom, or hit something, people would just check out. I mean, the offices would be empty. People would not be online except checking the news. I think the productivity of the world would completely collapse. Now, 3i Atlas comes and these orbs that are following it in its trajectory just break off and start coming toward Earth, and that's the stories we're getting. That is going to upset the balance of society. Everything we ever knew about science will be wrong. Every religion on the planet will have to be readjusted, or it will fit in with events that were foretold and prophesized. So whatever way you look at it, these comets are being spun in many different ways, shapes, forms, and fashions. And I would ask you to please take a look at why. These last 5 years took us part of the way into the resetting. Now we need to go completely digital. Would that be a Homo sapien ID now? Have to prove you're human. Not that you're you with your identity, but you have to prove you're a human being, a Homo sapien. Now, it wouldn't shock me if it went that direction to that far of a degree. But these things, the digital IDs come in with the digital money, i.e. central bank digital currencies, stable coins. We're moving in that way anyway. See what happened in Vietnam. They're closing all the bank accounts that didn't register already with you digitally. You need the retinal scan, all 10 fingerprints, facial ID scans. They didn't just take a photo. They scanned your face. That's way different than just a photo. Once they get a 3D rendering of your face and retinal scans. All right. So if you didn't go through that procedure, even foreigners living in the country, the bank account totally, you lost it. They closed it. Now, I don't know if you all have access to your funds, but so far 86 million bank accounts have been closed, because 86 million people or multiple holders of bank accounts in Vietnam said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'll just let the money go. So they did not partake in the system currently, but they are pushing us that way. So think about how that could be accomplished. We did it part of the way with the last 5 years. We need to go across the goalpost here. Not me, but this maniacal band of vampire-ish energy draining rulers, I guess is the best term to put it. They and that crew need to move central banking into something new and reset the entire system. And I say, to do that for a global financial system, this sort of soft trickle into the gold-backed reserve currency, the BRICS thing, that's not going to, way too long. That's multi-generation speed. They need an instant something. Instant, what would that be? Something to do with these comets would be an instant. Then your food prices, then your food distribution hubs and places you can get food because you couldn't buy because the distribution systems are all messed up now. You need a digital ID to get in there. You have to prove your identity, and then you'll have to go to centralized areas to get your food. Now, that would be a huge move, but what would take us there? You got a million stories of how the future may or may not manifest and coalesce, not set in stone yet. But do a mind experiment. How could they take us there to that event to get this full reset done that fast? Appreciate you watching. Hope you got something out of the video. And when's the last time you could trust your gut and Zorb? Check out Victory Nutrition International. Use the code CYCLE20 to take 20% off your order. Every single order you make helps keep this broadcast on air, bringing you information just like this so we can wander through this maze of change together. Please share with your friends and family. Click that subscribe button and then hit the bell so you can be notified. Tell your friends and family, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.